Okay, y'all, so we are trying to write the slope-intercept form of an equation or a line that has the following properties. It's saying that this line has a slope of minus 1/5 and a y-intercept of minus 2. Well, as a reminder, slope-intercept is the equation mx plus b. So all you have to do on these problems is pretty simple. You just take your slope and you plug it in for m, and you take your y-intercept, which is where it crosses the y-axis, and you put it in for b. So that's why I have minus 2. If you want, you could write it as a plus minus 2, but that's the same thing as writing minus 2. Okay, now on this next problem, it's giving you 2 points. Like it's giving you the point 0,3 and it's giving you the point 2,4, and it's saying, what's the equation of this line? Well, you could go grab a whiteboard and you could see, what's the rise over run, and that would give you your slope. And then where does it cross the y-axis? Well, here it's clearly 3, so that'll be a 3. So folks, that's one way to do this problem. But another way to do it is by doing our slope formula. So let me write that down for you. Slope is equal to change in y over change in x. What does that mean? That means the difference between the y values and the difference between the x. So what I do is I subtract my y's, and I have to do it in the same direction, meaning 4 minus 3 is going to be a 1. It's important that you put your y in the numerator. And then down below here, I'm going to do 2 minus 0 is 2. So this is a up 1 over 2, which it definitely looks like right there. So that's my slope. And then my y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. In this case, it's going to be 3. So we're going to have y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Okay? So now when you're doing this problem, it's going to be really nice because you'll have plus 2. But unfortunately on this problem right here, it doesn't really quite show you where it crosses the y-axis. So my recommendation for you is to graph this with the whiteboard and then follow the pattern and see where it crosses the y-axis. And then you can find the slope by looking at the whiteboard or doing this rule right here. All right, so that's page 1. Let's go ahead and do page 2. All right, page 2 says write the slope-intercept form of an equation of the line described. So if I am parallel to this line and I have to go through this point, let me draw a picture of this. This is saying that I have the point 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm also parallel to the line x plus 4. All right, so just a general idea of what the line x plus 4 looks like. It looks like that. So I'm trying to write the equation of a line that goes through this point and is also parallel to this equation, which I graphed because it was given to me as x plus 4. Well, what you need to know is that lines that are parallel have the same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope, and which makes total sense, right? I want to be parallel, so my rise over run would be exactly the same. Well, what's my slope in this problem? It's an invisible 1 here. So I know my m is going to be equal to 1. And I'm trying to go through the point 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I know my equation is y equals mx plus b. I know my m is 1. I know that because I'm trying to be parallel to that line. So I've got y equals 1x plus b. Now, I'm going to take, that's my x value right here, and this is my y value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my 4 in for y. See how my 4 is y? And my x is going to be 3. And you guys could probably do this in your head. I get 4 equals 3 plus b. So I can subtract 3 from both sides, and I get b is equal to 1. So my final answer is y equals, I know my slope is 1 because it has to be the same as that. So that's going to be y equals 1x. And then my b I got to be 1 as well, so 1x plus 1. Let me do that a little faster over here. So I'm trying to be parallel to this, so I know my slope is a negative 1/2. So I'm going to have y equals a negative 1/2 x plus b. And so my y is a 2 and my x is a 2. So I'm going to plug in 2 here and 2 here. So I get y equals negative 1/2 times 2 plus b. But I should have put a 2 in here. That's my bad. All right, what's negative 1/2 times 2? That's going to give me a negative 1. And you could just do that in your calculator. That's a negative 0.5 times 2. All right, that's going to give me a negative 1. Okay, and then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. And I get b equals 3. So my final answer is I know my slope has to be this, and my b has to be that. So I'm going to get my final answer of y equals negative 1/2 x, and then plus 3. All right, now, these problems are literally exactly the same, except you have to be, in order to be perpendicular, you take the slope and you do the opposite reciprocal. So this number right here is a 1 over 1. So to be perpendicular, we have to flip the slope. So flipping 1 over 1, I get 1 over 1. Like that 1 is now on the bottom and that 1 is now on top. And then I change the sign. If it was positive, I make it negative. If it was negative, I make it positive. And now this problem becomes exactly the same thing. This is your slope. And so negative 1 over 1 is negative 1. So I'm going to have y equals a whatever this is, which is a negative 1x plus b. Then you're going to take your 3. You're going to plug your 3 in here. You're going to take your x. You're going to plug it in right here. So this gives me 3 equals negative 2 plus b. I add 2 to both sides and I get b equals 5. So my answer is y equals a negative 1 over 1, which I can just write as that, and then plus 5. Sorry, it's hard to hold the thing. Now let's just do this one real quick just for the slope. The opposite reciprocal of this would be a 9 over 5. And then the negative becomes a positive. So your m in this problem is 9/5. So you've got your x and your y to plug into. So you'd have y equals 9/5 x plus b. You'd plug this 5 in for x and your 4 in for y, and then solve for b. And then make sure you write your final answer as this. Okay, so those are the first 2 pages.